Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Fit for Function podcast. Right off the bat, we need your help. We feel that it's now time for a little bit of a rebrand around the podcast. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah.
We love the name Fit for Function. We just don't know if it covers the bases that we want it to cover anymore. So, yes, we talk about fitness and wellness and health, but also we talk a lot about productivity and mindset and business. And there's a lot of things that we offer under our wider Dynamic 22 umbrella, our parent company. And as those other areas start to catch up with the fitness stuff, we feel that we're getting asked a lot more questions. We're being offered a lot more business in those areas. And so, long story short, we want your help. We have a couple of ideas for names to rebrand the podcast under, but if you can think of anything, let us know. We want it to be performance-based. We want it to be optimization-based, but we want it to be sort of catchy and not cheesy and not cliche either. So, if you can think of anything, let us know. Drop us comments, DMs. That would be much appreciated. Thank you. Bex, what are we talking about today?
We are talking about people you surround yourself with. And that's not just well, actually, no, let me rephrase it. That's in every aspect, right? Business, fitness, and this is what really prompted the rebrand, really, is that a lot of the topics that we want to cover now are quite business related.
A lot of business, a lot of lifestyle. We want to talk more. We get asked parenting questions a lot. And listen, but we're not saying that what we say in those areas is like the gospel, but
No.
it's we've built businesses in these areas. We get asked a lot of questions, so yeah, absolutely right. It's kind of what prompted it.
It would just be nice I feel like, to have a name that reflects a bit of everything, really.
Yeah.
I feel like some of it doesn't really fit maybe the purpose of the podcast. But anyways, we're really talking about who you surround yourself with mainly. I haven't really prepped for this pod, if I'm being honest, because I am so passionate about the subject that I don't even feel like I need to prep for it. I am so particular with who I have around me, who I listen to. My circle is incredibly small in every aspect as well. Business, gym, social. I have a very, very, very small circle. I actually always have. And you know what's really funny is I was really envious of people that had big social circles growing up. Maybe because I was a bit more introverted then. And it wasn't something that I necessarily had. I did as a kid when I was in school. Had huge, like big, big friendship group. And then as I went through like college and like then so on, like that whittled down. But now I think it's the best thing. Personally, like this, I think, but it's really important to surround yourself with good people, like-minded people that you trust, people that have your good, that have your intentions, your best intentions at interest. Where do you want to start with this?
Well, firstly, I agree with you, by the way. I was very lucky that this is something that has always been important to me, even since I was a kid. We had a massive friendship group at school. Like when we would go to parties or we would go out and do things, we would be like 20 deep minimum.
Yes.
We had a huge group. And I look back at like school photos of us and our little crew, our big crew. There were so many guys. But what was really interesting is quite early on, even at secondary school age, there came a point where I realized, like, well, there's only a few people that connect the dots for me here. Like, if he's not here, then I'm not going to spend time with him, and him. Like, I wouldn't spend isolated time with these people. I wouldn't call them up. I wouldn't text them. We just only moved as a crew.
Well, a lot of the time it's circumstances.
Yeah.
Right? You're put in the same year group as these people. You get on, like at school, we had a huge group of us. I don't speak to anyone from school now. And like, as the older you get, your interests change, things change. I was so different to a lot of my friends as well, because they were all studying. Whereas like I dropped out of college. I knew I wanted to work. I had no interest in studying. I found college really hard. And then like your interests start to change and shape. And, I met you. We had a house when I was 21. So comparably, my friends were still going out drinking, and that just wasn't the
Yeah, you're
lifestyle
in a
that
different place.
I was in. A completely different place. So yeah, I think it's all circumstance, isn't it? Like you say, and then the older you get, you're like, well, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
I only hang out with you because you're really good friends with her, and I'm friends with her too.
Yeah, for sure. Well, why don't we start the podcast off today then with a quote, right? And I really like this quote. And I wrote it down. I know it by heart, but I wrote it down just so I get it absolutely right for the purpose of the podcast. An athlete will never judge you for working out. A millionaire will never judge you for starting a business. A musician will never judge you for trying to sing a song. It's always the people going nowhere that have something to say.
Mm.
And that's kind of the purpose of today's podcast. So why is it important to surround yourself with the right people? Why is it important to nurture and take care of your inner circle? And some ways in which you can do that with the least amount of impact, I think, is important, because what we're certainly not saying is you've got to cut everybody out. There will be some people you need to cut out. Don't get it twisted. There will be. But there's ways in which you do it. And so we can hopefully help you navigate that. So I guess the place that I want to start with is not everybody is going to be on the same path as you. Not everybody is going to hold the same values as you. And that doesn't mean you have to cut them out.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
well, yeah, like you take one of your best friends, for example. You are really bang into your fitness and your well-being, and he isn't.
mm-hmm.
So your not necessarily your values, but the way you spend your time and what's important to you is so different to him. But that doesn't mean you're not good friends.
No, exactly that.
Like, and he doesn't make comments on that, and you don't make comments on, that sort of.
You're absolutely right. There's something you touched on there. You don't have to both be on the same trajectory. Like you say, just because he's not into his fitness and he doesn't particularly care about that type of thing too much, I don't judge him for it. I wish he would for his health, but I don't judge him for it. And I don't need to cut him out as a result. But that part of our lives will just keep separate. We can still coexist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. On this though, where I really want to add, and something that I'm really passionate about, is you can have people with different values to you. Of course you are. Like, we don't live our life the same as anyone around us, really. But don't take advice from somebody that you wouldn't live your life like. If you've got somebody that's giving you fitness advice or food advice, for example, I see that a lot. Nutrition's a big one.
Mm-hmm.
People giving you nutrition advice, and it's coming from someone that doesn't take care of their fitness or their well-being or their dietary or their nutritional habits. Sorry. And you think, why am I going to listen to you? Like, I think that's something to be really mindful of as well. People that are giving you advice,
Yeah.
you don't have to listen to the advice that you're being given to from people that you wouldn't necessarily live their life. Do you know what I mean by
Yes,
that?
I do. I'm gonna refine that slightly.
Please do.
Because I've been thinking about this a lot recently. Because I see a lot of it's really interesting. On social media at the moment, it seems like one way to promote your business is to shit talk other people's businesses, which, by the way, is a fundamental business mistake. We won't get into that today. You should listen to everybody's advice, and you should listen to everybody's opinion. Not listening to someone's opinion is so foolish, but you don't have to take the advice. That's the difference.
Yeah.
You should listen. I'll give you a great example, right? We've got somebody who works for us, who has never gone out on her own and run a business before. That being said, her ideas are fucking amazing. Now, it'd be real easy to be like, well, you've never run a business. You've never taken the leap. But her ideas are amazing. So we listen to them and we throw out what we don't agree with, and we implement what we like. So that's a really big thing. You don't have to take everyone's advice, but you'd be a mug not to listen to it, I think.
Yeah, I like that.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think that's a really important differentiation.
Yeah, I think that's an important thing to add. But I think it's something to really be mindful of. You can listen, but how much of that I think that's a really big part of it, really, is being able to listen to it and just like take it on board, but not necessarily always bite back or get into a bit of a, like, pick your battles, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, people around you might not, be you don't necessarily have to agree with the same, but people that you do want to take advice from, or people, if you do need help, and people that you turn to, there need to be people that inspire you.
Keep running with that.
Where are you going?
I'm going to get this tortoise out because he's driving me crazy. I don't know if the mics are picking it up. Might be time to introduce the Fit for Function Nation to our buddy
Reggie!
Reggie the Veggie.
Oh,
He's
wow.
being super loud, so I'm just going to get him out because it's driving me crazy.
You're going to have to clean your laptop. You got dirt on it. We have to be mindful that he doesn't eat Raymond's. He doesn't eat Zorro's biscuits.
Yeah, but for now, that's...
Okay.
we'll get through this and then we'll go and rescue him.
Well done. Well done. And make sure to clean your laptop because you've got Reggie dirt on it.
I need to clean my hands as well, but we'll do that after too.
Okay. Yeah, and I think if who you take your advice from too, or who you seek advice from, there's a difference between maybe like getting something off your chest and talking something through, and then actively wanting to get advice from somebody on a decision. And I feel really lucky with the people that have come into my life. I feel like a lot of people around me that I value, that actually it's not I think it's true, are older than me.
Okay.
So I respect that a lot as well. That's not to say that people that are younger than me I don't take advice from at all, but I value people's what's the word I'm looking for? I was going to say life. It's not life decisions, but their experience, their life experience, where they are, what they value to get where they are.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean by that? Like one of my closest friends, really successful in her career. Her knowledge of particular subjects are unmatched. I really respect the way that she lives her life and her discipline, and so a lot of her values and morals align with mine. So it's absolutely somebody that I would go to. I actually probably take a lot of my problems and queries to her first. So I think it's knowing those people that you've got around you too.
Yeah, I love that. Let's talk about the right people first of all, and then maybe we can deep dive. What does it mean to have the right people around you, the right inner circle? Surround yourself with the right people. Who are the right people? For me, there's some really important kind of details that I look for in someone when I am establishing the type of relationship I'm going to have with them. And those that I let really close. Firstly, it's those that hold you accountable. And actually, a lot of when I talk about the right people, a lot of the things I'm looking for are uncomfortable to me. I like people that are going to hold me accountable. You said you were going to do this. You said you were going to do this. You said you were going to do this. You haven't done it. What's up with that? And it's uncomfortable, because it'd be easy to let the inner chimp kind of go, well, fuck you, mate. I'm busy. And I go, hey, dude, you told me you were going to do something. You didn't do it. What happened? You said you were going to be at the gym at 9. You rocked up at 9:30. Do you know what I mean?
Do you have many people that hold you accountable like that? Because I feel like it's the other way around. And that's really interesting, because what you look for, you actually provide to others.
That's really kind.
But
yeah, it's important.
You do though, don't you? Like more so, I don't feel like, maybe because you are so disciplined, I don't feel like you have a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean.
But you do it to others. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
You're very good at that.
Thanks. Yeah, I have a few people that tell me straight.
Maybe because you're so perfect, you don't need it.
Well, that's it. Yeah, I don't need to. But no, yeah, I certainly.
He does need it.
I certainly try and hold myself accountable and set the standards.
Yeah.
The standards you walk past are the standards you set. Right. That's a big one.
I love that saying so much. I say that all the time. I say that to my girls when training them.
Yeah.
If you want to do an invert and you've got micro bends, like listen, standards you walk past are the standards you set.
Yeah.
I say it all the time. It's
a really important saying. It's an old military saying, and it's a really important saying. And the minute you start letting them slip, or that's how shit happens. And look, listen, of course I let my standards slip on certain things from time to time, and of course I make excuses from time to time. But I really do try and hold myself accountable, and that is why it's important to have people around you, because when accountability fails and motivation fails and discipline fails, the value of having someone to say, we're doing it. You said we were going to train today. So I don't care if you're tired, we're going to train, having that is so important. And I think we do it really well with each other in a lot of ways, but I think in business.
Yes.
is probably where
It's
we're
really
great at it.
interesting actually, because I think from a fitness stance and lifestyle, and I might be wrong in saying this, so you know, feel free to correct me. I feel like I keep you accountable for a lot of for like the lifestyle stuff side of things. Where I'll be like, Rob, we said we weren't going to have any ice cream today. Put it back. And you keep me super accountable with business. I do though.
All right, hang on a minute. Let's just back this up a second. Okay, who's the one that says when I come back from the shop, did you buy treats? And I'm like, no. And then when you go to the shop, who comes back with like a Santa sack full of fucking chocolate and
I'm a
sweets?
feeder.
So
That's
you
my
are
love
a
language.
feeder. So I hear what you're saying. You know, also the devil and the angel. You are a feeder in a big way, and yeah,
It's my love language. I love
it
it.
is your love language. That's really funny. So I think part of the holding someone accountable, and this is really important to me when I'm looking for somebody. I'm not looking for someone to like. I'm not holding open trials for my inner circle, but
He does.
I do. Yeah, every Thursday at 2:00 you can come and audition. No, I'm looking for someone to tell me the uncomfortable truths.
Yeah.
Having a yes man is fucking pointless.
It's dangerous too.
It's super dangerous, and this is where it gets tricky with. Surround yourself with the right people. You want people that are going to cheer for you unconditionally. One of my best mates, he says so much good shit about me to other people. And to the point where sometimes I have to correct people say, oh, he told me that, and I'm like, that's a fabrication. Like I wasn't that good, or that kind of happened, or like
he loves it, doesn't he?
hypes me up to other people so much, even when I'm not there.
Yeah.
The challenge comes when I need him to be brutally honest and tell me that it's not good enough, or he doesn't like the business idea, or
he does do that though, doesn't he?
He
did that
does
recently. That's probably something they did recently.
Yeah, he absolutely does. But you know, having those people that are going to say, "I don't like that idea. That's not good enough," and you have to take it on the chin. By the way, you can't just throw your toys out the pram.
Yeah.
You know, if you're going to ask for someone's opinion, you better be ready for the answer, regardless of whether you like it or not.
Yeah, and this is actually what I value about the people that I've got close to me. You know, they will really hold me accountable with my ideas. Actually, maybe accountability is not the right word. I know that they're my biggest cheerleader and support, but they'll also tell me if they don't think it's a good idea. And you need people like that. You know, like my friend that I was talking about. I'm not specific. I'm not naming any names for no reason. I just don't want to start naming names.
I
But
agree.
I value what she says in like the highest regard. You know, if she says to me she doesn't think it's a good idea, or like even down to wording and things that I say, or you know, I know that sounds really silly, but like in, you know, when you have a big following on social media and a lot of eyes on you, you need to be careful with some of the stuff that you're saying, or maybe decisions that you're going to do, or ways that you communicate with some things. You know, having people around you, like, but then that I have you. Again, that's really small. I have you and one other person, really. My circle is so small, and I'm so happy with it that way.
Yeah.
I'm so happy. But anyway, back to what you look at. So look at someone that holds you accountable. I didn't mean that like you don't have people around you that hold you accountable. I just think it's really interesting because you do hold a lot of people accountable, and I see that firsthand. When you'll be like, right, I'm texting so and so and asking him why he's not. He told me he was going to go to the gym, saying he didn't. So what's going on? Or you said you were going to be here and you haven't showed up for a few weeks. Like, what's going on? Like, you do that.
Yeah, I think you need to be the friend that you want. That you want, right? I think that's so important. And I think this is a bit of a sidebar, but I heard this kind of recently, which I really love, about how you communicate with yourself versus a friend. And you are the best friend you're ever going to have.
Yeah.
Right? You know more about you than anybody, right? Yet we have this weird thing where if you fuck up, the go-to kind of feeling is to berate yourself.
Yeah.
Or to give yourself a hard time or get down on yourself. But if your friend fucked up, what would you say?
That's okay.
Chill up, man.
Yeah.
Happens. Roll with the punches. Go again. Dust yourself up. You know, and so I think if you can try and be the friend that you want, you know, you what's the saying about you know, you kind of attract what you put out.
Yeah, like the laws of attraction, that type of vibration.
Yeah.
Vibration.
I think that's really big.
That's something that I think is really, really, really big, and we have touched upon it. But I do think that it is huge. Is your relationship with your partner and that person that you've got, because that's the person you've got closest to you.
Hmm.
So if that person isn't in your corner, but also doing the things that like you need, you support me to the end of the world. I have the best support network from you, but you also keep me in line. And by that I mean, like, if you think that,
Yeah, not some manosphere shit.
bitch, please. More of a case of like, you know, I don't think this is doing well. You need to get on top of this, or, you know, this, I don't think you should be putting much energy into this, or like this isn't working, or I don't think that was a good. I don't think that was it's really silly stuff. Like when you said like, I don't think that's a good bit of content. What was the point in that? You know, like sometimes you question me to have to sort of not justify, but like sort of, you know, I suppose, yeah, justify why I've made a decision.
Yeah.
In the sense of like holding me accountable. Having someone around you like that is also really, really important. I couldn't imagine not having that in a partner. Some people aren't lucky enough to have that, I know, but like,
Yeah.
I think that's huge.
It is very important. And it's that fine balance, isn't it, of having your coexistence together and your individual existence. You know, again, I've been very well, look, I've for example, this is just gone down a strange rabbit hole, but just bear with me. Like, I've dated girls in the past.
What do you mean?
I know, right? I wasn't a virgin when I met you. Can you believe that? But I've dated girls in the past, and kind of fitness wasn't their thing. And like, even if we got on great, the relationship couldn't get past a certain point because they couldn't understand why
Your commitment levels.
my commitment levels to
Yeah.
my well-being. I'm
Yeah.
training all the time, and you know, I'm eating a certain way, and
Oh, that's a big
you
one.
know,
Like,
that's tough, man.
it
It's tough,
is.
and like I say, there's it just doesn't let the relationship get past a certain point. You're going to always be butting heads on that, and so yeah, it's useful to have individual kind of time apart and do your own thing, but to be supportive. And we hear it all the time. When we sign up clients for our fitness coaching, we hear that like within a couple of weeks, husband, girlfriend, wife, whatever partner doesn't get it. Like they're getting
Yeah.
resistance at home because they want to eat clean and lean and well.
And their partner on a Wednesday night saying, "Shall we order pizza tonight?"
Fuck yeah.
I literally had one today where like they were wanted to have an early night, go to bed, read, so prioritize their well-being,
Hmm.
their sleep, their recovery, but their partner went down the pub. And then she got FOMO and went for a glass of wine, and then they stayed and had another one. She didn't want another one, but she stayed and had another one. And it's like, it is, I know it's a really extreme example, but it really is things like that. Like, who is anybody around you stopping you from achieving what you want to achieve?
Yes. And
I think that's huge as well.
and I think you've hit the nail on the head. Fundamentally, that's what this podcast is about. Yes, it's about surrounding yourself with the right people, but actually, I think one of the easiest ways to do that is to let people go. You know, one of the things I've written under, you know, when you want the right people around you is they back you. They back what you're about.
Absolutely. And that's not to say again that like, because I had a situation recently where I definitely had, I learned a lot in the last year and a half, maybe 2 years, of people that I've got around me, and cutting people out. And I definitely should have cut people out way earlier, and I didn't. And I had to learn from that, and then, you know, eat shit for it because of my actions on that. And I didn't take
Mhm.
action sooner.
Mhm.
Um, but it's exactly that. It's things not aligning. You know, you don't have to agree with what I say or my beliefs, but to actively go against it, you know, when you're supposed to be a friend, or like, just there's sometimes where you're like, you know, friends just wouldn't do that. Like, you're allowed to disagree.
You should disagree.
Absolutely. And you're allowed to have different opinions. But then I think it's not just, you know, and some, you know, so it's how things are handled.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you see where people like, if people are bashing your opinions online, for example,
Mhm.
like, that's just not what that's not what good people do.
No, I think there's a lot of, and I don't want to get political, but everything out there at the moment is kind of wanting to divide us into two camps. You're left or you're right, or you're fucking Samsung or your iPhone, or I don't know, whatever it might be. Everything is like put you into two camps, and a small slither of the population live on either side, but most people live in the middle. Chris Rock's got a brilliant bit in one of his stand-ups about this, about kind of being in the middle, about, I like this and I like this from different political parties. And having people that are going to challenge you and disagree with you, and you've got to be mature enough and open enough to again, like, listen to their opinions. You don't have to agree,
Yeah.
but you have to listen and you have to be willing to be challenged. But are they challenging you in the right way? So let's use a really simple example. So let's talk about fitness, right? Are they challenging you, like, in terms of, I don't know, let's say, I think you might be consuming too much protein. That's a big one. People sometimes think too much protein is like steroids. Or taking creatine was the big one.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't need this much, you don't need that much. Like, to have a disagreement's fine, but I think it's the way it's done, it's the way it's conducted.
Yeah.
And are they disagreeing with you? Are they challenging you to make you better, or to educate you, or to help you? Or are they disagreeing with you to pull you backwards, to pull you from your beliefs?
Yeah.
And I think that's very, very tricky. And sometimes that doesn't come out for a while.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes a while to see someone's true colours, but you just need to have your head on a swivel a little bit with that one, and just kind of.
And I think if something doesn't feel right, or someone around you, like, it's not working with you, like, you do need to take action. It can be very, very hard the first time you do it, but I would have no hesitation now in doing that again, in cutting somebody out. But it took me a really long time to do it. And I think, I think you're getting rid of negativity, or just people that bring your vibe down, or life's too short. Life is far too short. I think that's, like, above everything else, to have people around you that, like, make you feel uncomfortable. And, like, I don't even need to expand on that. You know what I mean by that feeling of, like, you don't want to be in the same room as somebody, or, like, that feeling like someone's going to be there, so it's like, oh, I really don't have to spend time with this person, or like, oh, I hope this person isn't going to be there because I really don't want to have to see them. Like, that in itself is just so toxic and so negative. So even having people like that around you, like, obviously sometimes that can't be helped, but shut that shit down. Like, you don't need it. You need to keep, if you want to succeed, you look at people that are successful or perform really well. 9 times out of 10, they have a very, very small social circle, and there's a reason for it.
It's tight though. It's a tight circle.
Yeah, tight, small circle, because you got to be so selective with the people that you've got around you. The opinion, like you say, I'll listen to anyone. I have a conversation with anyone, but what actually I take on board and goes in, those opinions are really well respected those opinions come from people that I really respect. So I think, just being open and mindful to the people that you're listening to and that you've got around you.
I think it's a good time to touch on, because you kind of have alluded to it a little bit. When we talk about having the right people around you, I don't just mean in a physical sense. You are what you consume. So increasingly now, relationships and the way we live our lives is online and not kind of real, not tangible anymore.
But isn't it funny how a lot of more online relationships feel more tangible than they do like in person? And I think it might be hard for you to resonate with this, but you'll understand it. But especially people in, like, the pole world, for example, I'm talking about, you've got a big mutual connection, and you speak to people, you're commenting on their stuff, you're responding with their stories, maybe you're having conversations, those conversations, maybe you meet at retreats or workshops. And the level of connection that you can get with somebody online, like, you've seen it, right? Like, we've watched Catfish, and those programs where people are having, like, online relationships, and that can be a friendship or an actual, a more intimate relationship. But sometimes those online relationships and people that you see or speak to or connect with feel much deeper than.
And
that's why I think people get sometimes a bit caught up too.
I agree. I didn't mean that specifically, but I don't disagree with your point. I'm talking about the content you consume.
Oh,
So
right.
like, okay, this is gonna sound fucking weird, right? But like people that I feel that I know who I've never met, people like Joe Rogan, Jocko Willink,
Yeah.
Tim Kennedy.
Yeah.
You know, I consume DJ Shipley. I consume these guys' content at such a vast scale because I think they are leaders of men. I think they lead by example. I think they do the right things. I think they set the right, you know, and I've never met them. Yet I feel a closeness isn't the right word, but like an affinity with them.
Mm.
But it can happen in reverse. You know, if all you're watching is gossipy, drama-led reality TV, you know, it amazes me that, for example, take Selling Sunset, for example. I've gone off right off on a fucking tangent here. But you take Selling Sunset, for example. It's doing so well because it's so popular because so many people are watching it. And I know they're watching for the nice clothes and the cars and the houses, and it's kind of
Yeah.
that luxury porn thing that people like to watch.
Let's peep through the keyhole.
But really all it is a bunch of women tearing other women down, talking shit about them, being underhanded, being snide, talking about them behind their back. And yet we've got this, it's predominantly popular with female viewers. And I can't wrap my head around that because the level of negativity in that show is obscene.
Yeah, but that's the case for like so many reality shows too.
Yeah.
That's why we don't actually consume it. We don't actually have TV, do we?
But I can't be dealing with that. And we know someone very, very close to us, which we won't mention who it is, someone very close to us who watches all that shit and is in a permanent state of gossip and stress and, you know, negativity, always looking for the drama because that is all they consume. Whereas if you, so it's not just who you spend your time with, it's what you consume. Make sure it's positive and uplifting and happy. And something I've started doing over the past 3, maybe 6 months, I lose track of time. I've started just commenting on strangers' Instagram and social media. Like, great big overweight guy. And he's on day 55 of like a transformation. Ozempic. Yeah, go on, my guy, get it. No, he's on like a fitness transformation. And I'll just comment and tell him that he's doing great and he should keep it up. Or someone creates a great piece of artwork, or there's this little lad that I absolutely love. He, I don't know what his disability is, but he can't walk without a walker. And he's been like getting up curbs and up steep hills.
That's so
and
nice, that one, isn't it?
he's the man. His resilience inspires me. And so I'll do that. I wrote to a guy the other day who was a calisthenics coach, and he just started creating like his content's really cool. He's created a YouTube channel and he's just blowing up. And I just messaged him, direct messaged him, just basically saying, "I love your shit, dude. I really love it.
Did
It's
he come back
great."
to you?
Yeah.
That's cool.
He said, "Thank you." I didn't want anything from him. He didn't, you know, we're not going to do business together. Well,
yeah, there's a lot of positivity on
anyway, the
social
point
media.
I'm saying is it comes back to you. So I've spent way too long on that subject, but it's not just who you allow in, it's what you allow in that I think you need to really focus on.
Definitely. And also, like, if you're going to be on, like, if you are going to be on social media and you're looking at negative things, or you see negative stuff, like exactly what you said, like not consuming it, like coming from like with my profiles, in terms of the amount of eyes on each, any negativity that I come in gets deleted immediately.
Yeah, I really like that.
I don't consume it at all. I don't,
because it would be good for growth if you left it. Do you know what I mean?
Maybe.
But we don't want that shit. We don't want growth at the cost of happiness or peace of mind.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if it would be good for growth though.
It's just more engagement, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, if I went back to it.
Start creating a conversation, other people jump in, all of a sudden they start getting more viral reach.
Yeah, it's nasty.
For what?
It's nasty, and I'm just like, I don't want that. Like, again, like when you're locked in on what you focus on, so all that matters to me is my family, business, and that's and like friends, close friends, and that's it.
Yeah.
So I don't give a fuck what Susie 505 says, or Darren with no profile photo.
Fuck Susie, fuck Darren.
You know, comments on, you know, I think that as well, you know, like, again, like really being like, your opinion doesn't mean shit.
100%.
You know, otherwise you can consume it. And that's what happens with a lot of negativity online. They consume it. And then it bogs people down. But yeah, so you're absolutely right what you're consuming. But that does go for what's on your algorithm.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons why I actually deleted Facebook. And I really, really need to get back into Facebook. And I find it so hard because I deleted it back in 2017, 2018. Because there was so much animal abuse popping up, and I just fucking hated the amount of content that was on my feed. Not because I was obviously searching for it, but there was just so much at that time there was a lot of unfiltered and unregulated content that was coming out
it was pretty wild
on Facebook, and I deleted it because I was like, I can't deal with this. I don't want to see it. So I think, you're absolutely right. If you're spending your time, spent 20 minutes scrolling, and out of that 20 minutes you feel a bit fired up or ramped up because of negativity, or you've deep dived on comments, or you've got into an argument with someone online, that is not worth your time. And I think all of this comes back to all of the sort of subjects that we've covered on the podcast, how you spend your time. Because I don't spend my time scrolling through social media to look at that negativity, for example. I don't engage with people or drama. I don't have any of that in my life, and if I do, it's shut down immediately. So it all interlinks.
I mean, the last thing on that social media piece, I just want to touch on, if you are taking information that, you're looking at, like, this is the gospel from a headline that's been fabricated, or a podcast clip without context, or a comment from a faceless, and you're getting into an argument with I'll see it all the time. Like, you'll see it in the comment section, people arguing, and you're like, that's not a real person, mate.
That's what I mean, no profile photo,
It's
no
a fucking
followers.
bot. What? You're arguing with
a robot.
a robot. What is wrong with you?
Yeah.
So you need to take a good hard look at yourself. If that is how you're formulating your opinions, through tidbits, you need to have a good hard look at yourself and start thinking about where you really do consume your information from. Something I do want to talk about, because we've bounced around a lot, but hopefully it's been useful. I'll read the sentence that I've written down. Growth can cause friction in relationships, not just in spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife relationships, but in your friendships too. I've got a great story actually of a client, a former client. We had a very short window to work with each other, getting him wedding ready. And he went round for a beer and pizza night to watch the football with the boys. And he took a packed lunch. And he got absolutely slaughtered, which he should do. And by the way, if any of my friends turned up, I would absolutely hammer them for that.
Well, that is pure dedication.
In a joking way. And then I would say, nah, for real, that's cool. He took his own food, didn't have the pizza, didn't have the beer.
Wow.
Locked in. Like I say, deserves to get slaughtered. And there's a fine line as well. We're talking about supporting your friends. True friends, you can absolutely ruin them for a little bit. But then, his boys kind of went, no, that's fair play to you, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, you respect.
Something that you need to be aware of is that when you start committing to things that you want to do, it might not always land with the people around you that you want to support you. And that's very, very hard. It's hard to navigate. So do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, it's really interesting because I remember one Christmas before we weren't pregnant. I wasn't pregnant at the time, so it was the Christmas before I fell pregnant. Because then I left Carnival, and then I fell pregnant. So I'd already made the commitment to leave my full-time job. But I remember that Christmas. So I left my job in the February, and then opened the new dynamic in April. Yeah, that Christmas before, I remember telling my family that this is what I wanted to do, and maybe the direction that I wanted to go in. And, maybe I'm going to look to, leave my corporate job, blah, 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 blah. And I remember the conversations that were had with two specific family members that they were like, but what about when you get sick? What about your pension? What about holidays? What about if things don't, but basically just talking about all the negative stuff of self-employment, and what if I can't fund basically my life and stuff, like what are you going to do? And it was all coming from there was no bad intention around it, but it was all negativity first, over and above wow, Bex, that's really, really cool. So what's your plan? What are you gonna? That didn't come first. It was more on the negatives of the self-employment
And do you
side.
think they were being negative, or do you think it was good intention poorly delivered? Or
Good intentions poorly delivered, for sure. But it's things like that you, you know, at that point I hadn't handed in my notice. I was just intending on doing it. That was my sort of my plan for the new year and what was going to happen for 2023. But if that would have got to me, if
You might stay in your
I
little
hadn't stuck
box.
to my gut, like I was so, and spoke about this in our first pod that we did together, being so self-assured in your decisions. I was so confident in my decision and what I wanted to do. I knew I'd be able to make it work. That there was nothing really that anybody could have said to sway me.
Hmm.
But if you're on the fence about decisions or stuff, or and then you've got someone being a bit negative and not giving you maybe the support and reassurance that you potentially need, that can really sway, the outcome of a decision that you make. And actually, this is the best thing that ever happened to me, to us, for our family.
Hmm.
And could you imagine if I had then come away from that conversation like, oh, you know what, they have got a point? Because I really respect those family members too. They're really successful, and there was like a little bit where I thought, yeah, maybe what would I do?
Mm.
But yeah, being so like, nah, this is, I know I've got this. I'm doing it. Again, I'm listening to your opinion,
Yeah, yeah,
but I'm
and
not taking it in because I know that I want to do this.
again, it's finding that balance for people that are going to challenge you, because they're all valid points. They're all
Yeah.
valid points. Like if someone was telling me I want to go self-employed, I would be like, what are you going to do about your pension? What happens when you're sick? I'm going to ask all those questions.
Yeah. So
But
it was totally valid.
I'm talking kind of more from the point of view of people that just can't get on board with something. That's a really hard place to be. And I think clear communication and boundaries are the two things that you need to, you need to come to your partner, your friends, or whatever it might be, and say, this is important to me. Like I need to dial in on this for 6 months.
Yeah, I think that really happens again when you've like, I think that really happens when you've got like a big social circle. And I feel like more because when you've got a big social circle, from what I've seen, this sounds silly me saying this straight away, but you're more social.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean
Yeah,
by
yeah,
that?
yeah,
So
yeah. You do more social stuff.
yeah, you do more social stuff. So it's actually at that point where you get more stick for not going out, or like, oh, Bex isn't drinking again. But I actually have any of that because I don't have a big social circle. But then I definitely felt that when I was younger, and like I wouldn't go out and I wouldn't drink, or I didn't want to drink and my friends were, and you would feel that sort of divide happening. But again, like locking in on your shit, it's really, really important.
Yeah.
But I've never personally experienced any resilience of someone saying, I don't think you should do that, or like, but again, it comes back to knowing that that's what you want to do.
Yeah, like I say, being clear in your communication. This is what I want to do. It is going to mean that I can't go out for beers with you as much, or it does mean that I'm going to be back home a little bit late on the evenings.
I actually see it a lot more with clients. That's who I see it with the most,
Yeah.
because that's probably the biggest barrier that clients have, is at their social
Mm.
events, and they don't want to go out. And then like, again, it's exactly what you said. I suppose it's communication around it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like a couple of my clients are getting married,
Yeah.
and then they want a specific goal or a specific outcome, and then they're sort of like they're being pressured into drinking or going out, and it's like you say, exactly that, having that communication that, yeah, I can come, but I'm prioritizing this. Or
I think it also comes down to really, truly being honest with yourself and deciding, is it your friends or is it you? So there's a couple of ways I want to look at this, right? Firstly, well, there was a social event and there was an expectation from my friends that we were going to drink and we were going to eat, pizza. Pizza's getting hammered here, but you know what I mean? Like,
love
we were
pizza.
going to go out and we were going to do this and we were going to do that. And my friends don't understand that. All right, well, there's a couple of ways we can look at that. Firstly, you still, like, they didn't pour the drinks down your neck. You still could have said.
Yeah, you're totally
Do you
right.
know what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah.
easy to go, my friends don't get it. So
You're so right, because so many people use that as an excuse, because discipline is really, really fucking hard.
Mhm.
And in order to get what you want in any aspect, fitness, business, you have to be so disciplined to sometimes get the life that you want, or the outcome that you want. And people just don't want to do it.
No.
And it's so easy to be like, well, again, it was so and so's birthday, and obviously, like, we always have a bottle of wine on each other's birthdays, so then it starts to roll into excuses more than
Yeah.
it does, outcomes. But it really does, sabotage.
Yeah, it does. And I'm sorry to jump on my phone. I want to see a quote that jumped out at me here based off what you said, by Jimmy Carr, and I don't want to fuck it up. It was such a good quote. Let me see if I can find this here. See if I'm killing the podcast flow, but let me just see if I can find it. He said something along the lines of,
Well, actually, I'm just staring at Reggie. I'm watching that's why I
No.
keep staring out.
I'll give you the gist. He basically said, everybody wants the trophies, but no one wants to do the work that gets them, is the gist, and it's really true. It's everybody wants the accolades, everybody wants the success. I think also, it might be Jimmy Carr also said that they're jealous of the life you have, not the work it took to get there.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So, is it your friends? Is it you? But then also on the flip side, right? So I've got two thoughts on this. If you need to get drunk to spend time with your friends, I would question the quality of the friendship.
Oh, definitely.
And also, by the way, if your friends are the type that they're forcing you to do things you don't want to do, or
Yeah.
they're peer pressuring you, are they doing it for you? Oh, have a couple of drinks, mate. You'll feel better. Or, it makes you happy, whatever it is. Or does it make them happy?
I remember that when I was young, like 2021, and I remember being with a group of friends that we were having like a little gathering, a little social with some food and stuff. And the topic of conversation for a really big period of time was about drugs.
Okay.
And I was like, that was a real defining moment for me when I realized that these people aren't my people anymore, because I couldn't connect with anything they were saying. I didn't take drugs. I wasn't, it wasn't anything that I've really ever been exposed to.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, like, I think everyone's exposed to weed and stuff like that, but unless you're around those people where they're all taking drugs, because of where I was in my life at 21, 22, I had missed, and this is going to sound weird the way I'm phrasing this, but I missed the opportunity to do that because that wasn't exposed to me. So when I was like hanging out with these friends, and they were all talking about drugs and like their experiences, or how like they knew someone that did this or did that, and I was just sat there like, I can't relate to these. I can't relate to this at all. And that was a real pivotal, like, defining turning point for me, where I was like, yeah, these aren't my type of people. And I think now I can recognize so quickly whether or not somebody is like the same type of person as me, like, or whether I want to spend more time with people. Like,
Yeah.
I've got a really good friend who owns a gym, similar line of work with business for me as me, and I love spending time with him because I come back always so inspired. And it was really good for me when, like, you were still working in your real job,
yeah.
and I was spending time with them, and they were doing online coaching, and they were very new to it, and I was coming away feeling very inspired, and they've helped me a lot. I knew immediately. I was like, sometimes you come away from spending time with someone, you're like, when are we going to catch up again? Like, they're the people that I cherish and keep, and I still, like, we're going out for dinner I'm going out for dinner with him we are going out for dinner with him on Saturday. It's still someone that I keep so close to me because I really value
what they bring to the table.
And I think that's a big part of it too. You don't always have to, we don't speak all the time. We see each other twice a year, three times a year, but it's valuable. It's people that you're like, I enjoy when we hang out, like, I really enjoy spending time with them.
But with him, he legitimately cheers for you, and vice versa. And I think that's something that's really interesting, and I think a lesson that you've possibly learned, maybe the hard way, or you're learning the hard way. You're our mantra is, we love to see winners win, right? It fills up our cup when we see other people crushing it, because we know that their success doesn't come out of ours, and rising tides lift all boats, and there's enough to go around. We're not in a scarcity mindset. But what I've seen you do is help to scale other people's businesses, create opportunities, make introductions, exposure, and get very little back in return. And you don't give to receive. That's not what it's about. But very quickly you start to realize that for every 10 introductions you make, you might get one in return, or none. You know, it's finding that balance, and you know, don't get me wrong, some people aren't in a position where they can open doors for you like you can for them, and that's cool. But it's, you know, do the people you surround yourself with take more than they give, or is it a balance?
Yeah, you're
I
really.
feel guilty with some. Sorry, I'm really sorry to interrupt. I feel guilty with some of my friends that I feel that they fill up my cup more than I do theirs. That bothers me. I'm always come away like, are they getting enough out of the friendship? That's
Yeah,
something that really bothers me,
I
and I
feel-
think about it a lot.
do you really? I don't think you have to worry about that. I think people get so much out from you, so I don't think you have to worry about that at all. But that is something you can do. Keep me in check with a lot. Like I'll help. I will help anybody I can, and I'm really fiercely loyal too.
Is it the saying to a fault? Loyal to a fault, that it
Just to your detriment,
to your
really.
detriment sometimes.
You know, I've been stung from just being so fiercely loyal to us to individuals, and it's something you got to learn the hard way. And again, like now, I will only surround myself with good quality people. If people are even causing a little bit of negativity, like I just will not let them in. And it takes a lot to get into the my inner circle,
Yeah,
anyway.
for sure.
I know that my inner circle's important.
No, but it is important.
But it's important to me, and I'm not
Um,
just going to let anybody in. It's like how many of our friends really have come to our house? You know, I know that's a really, really. This is so off subject.
No, not really.
It's not a matter, but I can count 5 friends that have been to our house, maybe 6. You know, like we don't have, you know, letting people in close is just something that we just don't do, and not for any real reason, just because like if we like it really has to, we really have to align for a friendship to work for me. Like there's so many aspects that we have to align on, and I'm really strict with that. Like, you know, I have people that are friends, and that's great, but there's people that like I really truly cherish, and you know, I'm like, yes, you're a good person, you're a good egg. I see us being together for a very long time. But yeah, to wrap this up.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Take it home.
I've got a couple of like quick fire points I would have liked to have spent more time on.
Go on.
I think it's really important to talk about. You don't have to cut people out. That's not what we're saying. Some people have to go.
Yeah.
They've got to go. There's no two ways about it. If they drain your energy and your time and your resources and they're negative, and then they've got to go. You won't miss them. I promise you that. You won't fucking miss them at all. But just because someone's not on the same wavelength as you or doesn't value something the same as you, I'll use a really quick example, and it's totally made up, totally fabricated. Let's say you are entrepreneurial and you want to run a business, or you do run a business, and then you've got a friend who's happy just to kind of cruise through on like a minimum wage 9 to 5 because the career isn't really a big thing to them. They kind of want to work to live, not live to work. That's cool, by the way. That's totally fine. You can have difference of opinions, different values, but what we're saying is be really strict about the people you let in and when you let them in. So that's very important to me, I think. You want to surround yourself with people that legitimately cheer for you. And there's there's a bunch of kind of sayings and quotes around this about if you were out for dinner with a group of your friends and you got up to leave the table to go to the toilet, what would they be saying behind your back?
God, if you ever put yourself in that situation, though, that would be like the people that I spend time with. I generally don't think that would even
No.
like that would just that if you're in a situation like that, that's awful. Or if someone else goes up to the toilet and they're talking
And you
about
hear them
them
talk
like
shit, then you know you're next. The minute you step up from that table, you're next.
yeah.
And Muhammad Ali had a great quote about this, that I judge people on how they treat the waiter at the restaurant, because if I wasn't heavyweight champion of the world, they would treat me the same. And I think that's a really fascinating thing. And one final thing I think I want to leave you guys on. This isn't, again, 100% accurate, but I think it's a pretty good indication. If you want to know who your real ones are, your proper real ones, look at the likes, comments, and interactions you get on your social media posts versus the views you get on your stories.
Interesting, yeah.
I've got friends, business acquaintances that watch every fucking thing I post. Not a single like. No visible audible, outward public support.
Yeah, but that goes for anyone, by the way, as well. We're talking friends and family. Like, they don't give a shit what camp you sit in.
So that will very easily help you decide
Who's on your team?
who's on your team and how close you let them in. You know,
Well,
I'm not saying everybody needs to like everything, and I get that, but yeah, there is something to it. I'm sure
There is something.
to
There
that.
is 100% something to it. Oh, I saw that. Oh, right, but you didn't like it. But you want to talk to me about it.
Mm.
You know, so you. This is where like social media gets so petty for
And
me.
it can get petty, yeah.
But like, don't tell me you're in my corner. Like when likes and engagement and are such a big part of sometimes building a business or what you're doing. And I think that's what it's specifically around, right? More so for like, if you're trying to build a business or a brand and like the people are saying they support you, but they're not actually supporting you, because the likes and comments and engagement mean a lot. It does really,
Yeah.
it does count for something.
And again, I'm not saying cut these people out. I'm just saying if you want to know who your real close ones. I mean, I've got a couple of people in my circle. I'll shout them out. Gareth Beverley, Garthy. He was the second ever person on this podcast too. He backs everything I do. He's always quick to comment. He's always quick to like. He's always quick to message me directly and say, "That's awesome, dude."
We weren't going to name any names.
Ah, fuck it. Well, Garthy, you're the man. I'm just telling you, you're the man. But yeah, again, I think there's something to it. It's not 100% accurate, but it's a useful indication.
Yeah. Well, anyways, I think that gives you a really good indication of us, what we're about, how serious we take who we let in collectively.
Yeah, and I think you should too.
Yeah, I totally agree. And you should be mindful of the people that you listen to and the advice that you take. You, like Rob said, hear it out. You know, you'd be a fool not to listen to all opinions, but who you take on board, and who you spend time with, valuable time with, you know, what you watch, what you consume, all of it feeds into who you are and what shapes you and your decisions. So if you want to move forward, you know, in your business, in your career, just in life, you need to have the people behind you to back you and to be in your corner.
Yeah, for sure.
Because if you haven't, it's really fucking hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One very final closing thought. It's a lot easier to surround yourself with the people you want to be surrounded with than you think. I spent a decade building a network in the professional space through being a little bit cheeky and just being quite blunt and asking people for help. You'd be amazed if you wanted to get into a certain sector or learn about a specific subject. If you just had the get up and go to take some time to research on LinkedIn or wherever it might be, who you need to speak to and reach out and message them. Could I pick your brains over a coffee? Could I buy you lunch? Could I come and ask you some questions?
It's flattery, isn't it? Like, people love it. It's like when people say, "Oh, I don't know if they'd come on my podcast." Has anyone ever said no to a podcast appearance? Unless it's like, you know, celebrity or whatever. But people love that. You know, you're stroking someone's ego. It's, you know, to ask for help or say, "Can I borrow some of your time?"
And again, winners just have this thing where they like to see other winners get there. So yeah, anyway, guys, we got to wrap it up because we're already late for what was supposed to be a super hard finish. Thank you for your ongoing support. Please let us know if you've got any ideas for names for the future of the podcast. We don't think it's going to be fit for function very much longer, but we are going to keep doing this because we love it.
Yes. I need to go because I need a wee.
Right, peace out.
Bye.